Hi guys, Jate with spiritsvessel.com and the Spirits Vessel YouTube channel, and I am doing the weekly tarot reading for Aries Sun, Aries Moon, and Aries Rising. And if you are cross-watching for someone you know who's an Aries, this is a good way of getting some insight into what they're going through. And we are having a full moon in Aquarius this week. So what does that mean? It means that we're going through a process where some things that were in the dark are going to be illuminated for us. We're going to get some clarity about a situation that's been bothering us, something that's been heavy on our heart, possibly. And what could that be? Well, we're in Leo season right now, and the Leo Aquarius axis, they're opposing each other. So the full moon's going to be highlighting these issues that are Aquarian and Leonine in nature. So what's going on with that? So Leo is all about the self and how am I a unique individual? How am I a special little snowflake in this world? And Aquarius is more detached and more what does a collective want, and I'm not really an individual, I'm more part of this whole group consciousness here, which is pretty funny because Aquarius people are so eccentric and out there that they're usually very, very unique, but they would never own that. That's what Leos do. So in what ways, Aries, have you been shutting yourself down and not being your full unique self because you don't want to upset your tribe? And what ways can you alternatively, maybe not just not upsetting your tribe, but how can you be your unique self and help your tribe in the best way possible? Who are you really? Who is Aries? You guys might be getting some illuminations into that right now. And I think they're happy ones. It's kind of interesting. Leo was bubbly and crazy and spacey. Their energy was very spacey. I couldn't stop laughing. I had a hard time focusing. Sagittarius is very much like mellow, like been there, done that. And Aries, this card wanted to fly out, and I think that's two of them did. Two of them did. Let's see what these two are. Oh, interesting. So we've got number 4. This wants to zoom in there. Maybe it doesn't want to zoom. Come on now, any day. There it goes. We have the number 4 in the Santa Muerte Oracle deck. And we have the number 19. So 1 and 9 make 10. That goes down to a 1, which is initiatory energy, which is very Aries. So the Santa Muerte deck is 32 cards, and they're all broken up into 4 parts of 8 cards. Each of the 4 sections represent different parts of the different elements of reality, and it's based off of the Kabbalah if you follow that. And the 4 card, the first 8 cards all have to do with abstract concepts, more primordial concepts, more things that haven't taken physical form yet. And this is the love card. So, and this is not a romantic love necessarily. This is the love that binds everything together. This is the universal solidarity. And, you know, Aries can tend to, it's interesting. Aries really doesn't need Leo energy to be feeling itself or be really in touch with itself, although it does help. But sometimes Aries can not care what other people's needs are and not care about other people's sensitivities. And perhaps this Aquarius full moon is making you take a step back and be like, listen, not everyone is as tough as you. Not everyone is like how you are. So maybe you should show a little bit more love, a little bit more kindness, because you bring in more bees with honey than vinegar. Also, this card came up, which is number 19. So this is a part of the formations cards. So we're just about to take these high spiritual ideals and turn them into form. And number 19 has to do with memory. And this could be the memory of our ancestors. This could be our own personal memories. And I think what this is saying, the way these two cards flew out. So far, I've done, how many readings have I done? 8 readings. So you guys are the 9th, and I had no cards fly out like this one. So I think that could be what's going on is you were raised in a certain way. There's some Aries out there who were raised in a pretty tough environment, which is what made you really highly develop your sense of self. And now you're having to deal with people who maybe aren't as tough. I'm feeling like there's a lot of, well, this is how my family did it. This is how the people in my life did it. And so therefore it is correct. And it's this memory that's driving this harshness that's going on with you guys. And I think this week you're going to be having some awakenings that it's not a weakness to be more loving. It's actually very strategic to be more loving. It actually works out in your favor. And it's actually more rewarding and more favorable. And I think during this full moon, you're going to be having a lot of not just kind of this awareness of this collective consciousness you've been in, this ancestral consciousness you've been in, where, well, my grandmother did it this way, and my mother did it this way, and my great-great-grandmother did it this way, so this is how I'm doing it. I think you're going to be very aware of that. And then also your own kind of pain. And especially after this full moon, when the moon goes into Pisces, and then it's going to go into Aries, and it's going to be touching that Chiron in Aries, and Chiron has to do with the wounded healer. I think that's going to be a very emotional few days, actually about a week. I think there's going to be a week you guys are going to be feeling kind of emotional, but not in a bad way. I think there's going to be kind of like a plug that gets uncorked, and there's just going to be this flooding in of love. And I think it's going to be kind of weird. It's like you're going to be looking over the way you've been approaching a lot of things in your life and seeing them from a new perspective. And because this stuff is coming up to be released, you're going to be more in this state of mind, this more loving state of mind, and realizing how connected you are. I have a feeling that there's been a lot of my cat is going crazy again. I know, boo-boo. I know. I'll be done in a minute. I think there's been a lot of, I think for fire signs right now, reality's been kind of a mirror, a really big mirror. And I think that there's a lot of people in your life that, whether it's at work or your social circle, that you've been running into where it's like, man, I remember when I used to do that. I remember when I used to have that belief. I remember when I used to think that way. I remember when I was like that, for better or worse. You might even be meeting people where they're happy and they're positive and they're like so full of life and love. And you're like, I remember when I used to be that loving. What happened to me? Why am I being so harsh? And I think this is like, I think it's really good stuff. I think Aries has been needing to have this awakening for a while now. So I want to find some more details about these two cards, and I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. And I currently have a cat here who really wants to be involved in everything that I'm doing, but she can't right now. So I want to find out some more information about what's going on with my Aries friends out there. I have a few Aries people in my life who are near and dear to my heart. I love your guys' energy because you guys just make decisions. You don't really contemplate how it's going to affect other people, and sometimes we just need people to do that. We need someone to just be decisive for once. Take charge. That's what Aries does best. So let's see what's coming out here. Interesting Tower moment. So kind of like what I was talking about before. I think this full moon's going to be really interesting for you guys. I think the 2 weeks after this full moon are going to be kind of intense. I would really be kind to yourself during this time. Definitely change is imminent. 9 of Pentacles. Great card. Great card. Whatever this Tower moment is, it needs to happen so that you could get at this 9 of Pentacles here. See how there's 4 feathers around it? That's balance. 4s always mean balance and stability. And the 9 of Pentacles is great. If you guys are doing well in your career right now, this is a good sign of that. Money is abundant. Feeling very secure materially. And also, you know, I think for a few Aries people out there, well, a lot of Aries people out there, I think it's just a sign of like maturity, you know. You're almost at the 10 of Pentacles, so there's almost a mastery of this. And interesting, another 4, another Pentacles card, so 4 of Pentacles, so more balance, more stability. You know, if some of you Aries people out there have been very impulsive, which, you know, if you're in Aries, that's what you guys are known for, being fiery, hot-tempered, yada, yada, yada. I think there's a, or if some of you have been kind of wonky with your money, which I'm also picking up on as well. I think that there's a newfound peace about all of that. But I think it happens after that Tower moment. You know, I think that Tower moment happens and then you're able to like you haven't been living in the present for a very long time. You've been living somewhere else, and that Tower moment happens, and then you can finally look at your life in the present and be like, holy shit, I'm doing so well. How did I not see this before? Mother of Wands, upright. So this is a mature feminine energy. Could be a male with strong feminine energy, or could be a female. Very maternal presence. Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, or just someone very fiery and passionate. Also someone very protective. People might see her as a bitch or see him as kind of an asshole, but, they really just speak their mind, and they are not afraid to call someone out on their bullshit. And I think this is really helping you right now, having this maternal presence in your life. So 9 of Cups, reverse. So life is very abundant for you guys right now. You're feeling very emotionally satisfied, very calm internally. And, again, these cards are all coming after this Tower moment. So it's interesting. Whatever this emotional purging that has to happen, it's going to be so satisfying, because then you can finally be here now instead of wherever you guys have been. Whatever pain you've been holding on to, that's been clouding your reality, because I'm really picking that up very strongly, that there's just been like this cloud you guys have had that's just been on you, and this Tower moment's going to happen, and then all of a sudden you're just going to be like, I think people are going to look at you and be like, are you high? They're going to be like, why are you so happy? Like, you've kind of been, like down for a while, although you didn't even realize it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are going to look at you and be like, you're glowing. And you're going to be like, I thought I was already glowing before. You didn't even realize how sad you were until this moment passes. And then you're like, oh, I can see. I've been blind and now I can see. Oh, look at that. The Sun in reverse. So very happy, very abundant. Not only is the abundance, there's outward abundance, but there's internal abundance too. And I think the Sun is someone that is getting, it's the Sun. So getting a lot of recognition, a lot of abundance, a lot of warmth. Could be finding yourself at the center of attention, whether you are doing speaking engagements, or whether you're taking on a leadership role, or whether or not you're kind of striking out on your own. I see a whole lot of that going on. Really like center of attention type feel going on. And, like I said, again, this is the card of really going it on your own and being the one holding the torch. So I could see promotions for a lot of you guys, becoming the boss. And if you're not becoming the boss, then you are definitely doing things on your own more so. You're becoming way more independent this week, because you're realizing that you can trust yourself, and you can trust your judgments, and you can trust your skill set, and other people are slowing you down. And sometimes if you want a job done right, you got to do it yourself. And that's what I'm feeling from there. And, Two of Wands upright. So very focused, very directed energy, very much in charge, very decisive. There is no insecurity going on with Aries right now. I think you guys are like full peak Aries, especially after that Tower moment. You're going to know exactly who you are and how to direct this energy that you've been feeling. And, ooh, the Devil upright. Who is this Devil? Could be a Capricorn. Could be someone in your life that is really, really negative, really doubtful, and really trying to, it's almost like a universal test. It's like, you get to this place where you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy, I'm so happy. And then there's this little devil person and they say something to you and it triggers you. And that's the universal test, whether it's like, are you really over it? Because here, this little gnat came and annoyed you. Are you going to go back to dealing with things the same way you've always been dealing with them? Be careful of that. Be careful of this devil coming back, whatever it is. And if this is a Capricorn in your life and they're being very doubtful of what you're doing, I would say don't let them rain on your parade. And if this is a particular devil in your life, whether it's a vice or something you've been dealing with or a negative mindset, you know what your devil is in your life. It's going to come back up and try to distract you from this abundance that you have here. It's going to try to bring you back into an old way of thinking, an old way of doing. It's going to try to put some fear in your life. Are you going to listen to it? I really hope not. And the last card that I'm going to pull is the Eight of Wands in reverse. And this card, if the camera wants to zoom, there it goes. A lot of energy. Almost too much energy. It's almost uncomfortable. And that could be what that devil card is kind of linked up with as well. Because there's so much energy going and so much abundance and so much happiness and so much like forward momentum. That devil could be like, so I don't know if you know anything about, emotions being like a thermostat and your sense of yourself being like a thermostat. And if you like, for example, take income. If you're used to making a certain amount of income, like your parents both averaged out at around 50,000 a year, and so now you make 50,000 a year. Or they make 20,000 a year, and now you make 20,000 a year. Well, when you try to go above that, it's very interesting. It's like your subconscious mind is set to that base rate. So some people might go above 50,000 a year. They get to they jump up to like 75. And let's say they, in the first 6 months, they end up making way more money than they did the year before. But because their base rate is at 50,000, they will self-sabotage. They'll spend way more than they normally do. And by the end of the year, really, they only made 50,000 because they spent so much damn money. Or they had a loss later on in the year. It's really interesting how it works. And we can do that with our emotions too. We can start to feel so good that we start having all this fear because that's the base rate. It's like, wait a minute. We're not used to feeling this good, so we need to go back to the other way because this is what my nervous system is used to. My nervous system is used to being this way, not this way. And it's very good to start to recognize that when that's happening, when there's fears coming up, really seeing if this is a rational fear or if this is my thermostat coming into play. And also be aware if there are some Aries out there that self-sabotage, be very aware that this could come up because you're doing very well. And there could be an urge to self-sabotage. Like I said, only you know what your devil is. But just be aware, it has no power over you. You have to give power to this devil. It seems like it has power over you, but it really doesn't. I promise you that. In the Rider-Waite deck, it's interesting. There's the Baphomet figure, and there's two prisoners, and they've got chains around their neck, but the chains are loose. They can take it off anytime they want to. They're choosing to be in hell. And sometimes, you know, that there's a lesson in that. I can't tell you why people choose their lives and what they learn from them. But I think we can all agree that there's some people that have certain vices, and they definitely are choosing to stay with those vices, or choosing to stay in certain destructive relationships, or choosing to have destructive thoughts. And happiness is, you know, it doesn't seem like it's as simple, but it really is a choice. It's a choice you have to constantly keep making, and sometimes you have to keep choosing to be happy every 10 seconds, every 20 seconds, every 5 seconds. But you can choose that. You can just turn that dial and go back to that abundance. And this requires staying in the present. You know, Sagittarius was having the same morning. It was hard for them to see, you know, that they are here now, not in the past. You guys are going through the same thing. You're in a different world now. So stay present as much as possible. Get some self-care. Go walk in nature. Do things that make you feel grounded. Do yoga. Go work out. But stay as grounded as possible, and also you know, maybe look into some meditating too. You know, if there's I want to warn, don't get lost in your thoughts during this time. So if you need to pick up some meditation or something, do that. But overall, oh, interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords. So, you know, I think that has to do with this Devil card. You know, if this isn't your own vices, this is someone coming along and being manipulative and shady. And this could distract you from all the good stuff that's happening in your life right now. Don't let it. Don't let it. Don't let it. Don't let it. Who cares if they took the sword? Let them have the goddamn sword. It doesn't even matter in the end. And if that happens to you and it triggers you to where you want to like just throw everything out the window, because Aries will do that. Aries will throw the baby out with the bathwater because it'll just explode. Go for a walk. Go get a good meal. Go take a bath with some salts and essential oils. Go get a massage. Soothe yourself during this time, because you've got this emotional abundance that's here. Don't throw it away because one thing happens. Stay present. Okay, so that's the reading for Aries. If that resonated with you, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting readings, astrology readings, all kinds of stuff. And if you want a personal reading from me, head on over to my website at spiritsvessel.com. I will link it down below in the description box. Be safe out there, my little Arians. Do a lot of self-care during this full moon. I love you. Oh, I'm so tired. I worked out earlier and I want to just pass out. I don't know why you needed to know that. You didn't need to know that. All right. Have a good one, guys.